For a small nation, the Czechs have an extraordinary gift for producing sporting champions of luminous greatness. Still more remarkable is their ruler's gift, especially in the 20th century, for disowning them. Emil Zatopek, the runner, Věra Čáslavská, the gymnast, Olga Fikotová-Connolly, the discus thrower, Martina Navratilova, the tennis player, the near-invincible national men's ice hockey team of 1947-9, all dazzled and conquered their chosen worlds, only to be denounced as traitors or enemies of the people. Some were punished, all were shunned, but none fell so far or for so long as Lata Brandisová, the steeplechase jockey, who displeased not one totalitarian regime but two, having already struggled through years of prejudice on account of her gender. In her prime, between the world wars, Jan's great-aunt was feted by statesmen and socialites, acclaimed by chanting crowds. Her achievements in the saddle made headlines not just in Czechoslovakia, as it then was, but across Europe. They were astonishing in sporting terms, but more astonishing still in the courage and resilience that made them possible. In an age of prejudice, she refused to be constrained by convention. At a time of despair, she embodied hope and patriotism. Her aristocratic glamour added to her celebrity, but she was also a figure of deep and serious significance for her nation, her sport, and her gender. She faced her ultimate challenge in middle age, confronting the warrior athletes of the Third Reich in a sporting contest so extreme in its dangers that some would question its right to be called sport. That day alone should have been enough to earn her immortality. Instead, she was stuffed into history's dustbin. She remained there, in that little cottage in the woods, for 30 years, forgotten and unmentionable. Her sisters would leave at dawn, walking to catch a train, to work all day in a factory on the edge of Prague. Lata, still unsteady on her feet from sporting battles gone by, would stay at home, cleaning, washing, chopping wood, fetching water, with only a dog for company. Later, as age and hunger gnawed at their bones, the sisters became increasingly reclusive. But once a week they would walk to church, always sitting in the same pews, always returning in single file, always alone with their thoughts. "Like the Three Kings," says a villager who used to watch. Then, nearly 40 years ago, even that procession stopped. Lata's death, in 1981, was barely reported. She is buried abroad. As far as most of her compatriots are concerned, her story might as well have been buried there with her. A few pilgrims say a mass for her each year at the family shrine in the woods above her old home, hundreds of miles from her actual resting place. Apart from that, you'll struggle to find a Czech or Slovak who has heard of her outside the hardcore racing community. In the West, she is almost entirely forgotten. Yet the life of Lata Brandisová was too remarkable to deserve such oblivion. Her character, courage and achievements made a mark that mattered in European history and made a permanent difference to the opportunities available to the women who came after her. If ever an athlete deserved to have a permanent record set down of who she was and what she did, she does. Some would say it is too late. There are too few witnesses, too many missing documents. In a cheerful bar among the bleak high-rises of the Prague suburb of Chodov, the respected journalist and racing historian, Martin Sarp, spent several hours kindly explaining the difficulties to me. He himself has spent 20 years researching a still unfinished book about the Czech Derby. His knowledge of his nation's incomplete racing archives is unrivalled, and he is painfully aware of every gap. It's a fascinating